Stewart's single ingredient freeze-dried treats are a great solution because they have only one ingredient, freeze-dried, to lock in nutrition and flavor.
Dogs can't resist them, and you can feel good about treating or training with these treats. Let me tell you something that is absolutely true. Have you ever seen AI where they make a dog look like it's smiling and it's the creepiest thing ever because it looks like a human smile? My dog did that when he had these treats. I mean, my dog is pretty nice to me. I have a sweet, sweet dog, Bueller. I love him. And he's always nice to me, but he's never been as obsessed with me as after when I gave him these treats. He loves them. He literally follows me around for the next hour begging for more. They're really, really, really solid, really good. It's real meat, and they are just little freeze-dried treats you give them. They love them. Visit stewartpet.com to learn more. That's STEWART pet.com.
At Saks.com, it's easy to find your new vibe. Dive into the Western trend with gold cowboy boots from Staud, or go full 90s throwback with platforms from Prada.
You can shop Saks.com for everything on your agenda, whether it's a breezy Zimmermann dress for a garden party or a bright Chloe blazer for brunch.
Find inspiration for your new vibe every day at Saks.com.
Audible offers an incredible selection of audiobooks across every genre.
As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. The time is now, more than ever, to embrace the breathtaking, sinister, and shocking tales that have enthralled you, especially with brand new exclusive thrillers from best-selling authors who are guaranteed to keep you gripped.
Right now, one thing that I'm very interested in taking a listen to is The Daughters of Block Island, which is currently #1 on the mystery, thriller, and suspense list. So that is definitely going into my queue.
New members can try Audible free for 30 days.
Visit audible.com/Crappens or text Crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/Crappens or text Crappens to 500-500.
Watch what Crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that Crappens? Watch what Crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that Crappens? Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and over there hacking up a lung because he just inhaled some saliva. I just watched it all happen in slow motion. Mr. Ronnie Karam. I mean,
what a way to start. Wow. Sorry, everybody.
Hey, I mean, this show, Summer House is the show about inhaling saliva. It is the visual representation of that in human form, personification of it. Before we dive into that tonight, we are doing Netflix as a Joke. Thank you to everyone who has bought tickets. It's basically sold out. Maybe it's already sold out by now. We're recording this a little bit ahead of time. In case you missed the announcement, we are going to recap the episode of House Hunters that aired this week with nudists. So nudists trying to settle on a house. So in Florida. So the episode is something like, just look up House Hunters nudists. It's the only one there is.
Yeah.
And you can watch that. It's on. We saw it on YouTube TV. Probably, I don't know if it's on Max, but it's on YouTube TV, which means it's probably on whatever platform you use. So check that out. And for tickets to our European shows in London, Birmingham, and Dublin, go to watchcrappens.com. London is just like, the only tickets left are like the VIP tickets. There's some VIP tickets left. Everything else is on wait list. So thanks to everyone who showed up and bought tickets. We cannot wait for that show.
Dublin and Birmingham are after that. So go get your tickets. We'll see you in a couple weeks. I'm so excited to go.
I know. And I'm really excited to talk Summer House today because I was texting Ron. This is one of those episodes where I texted Ron and I was like, oh my God. I was like, the first 14 minutes of this episode, I'm like beside myself. And then it just kept getting better and better and better. Oh, it was like a Lindsay and Carl bonanza. I lost my mind. Oh my God. I was like, we're going to have so much to say.
It was a good moment for a lot of animals today. Pigeons made out well. There was a squirrel who made out well, got a lot of scenes. And the squirrels in New York are just so bold. I mean, it just stares right at the camera like, what?
Yeah.
You fucking got a nut? You got a fucking nut? Then look the other way, motherfucker. I ain't looking at you. I'm looking at you. Got the camera on me? All right. You need me to sign a paper? Am I going to be on TV? All right, I'll sign it.
I saw some squirrels in Central Park last weekend, and they were like chasing each other. And I was like, why are you guys chasing each other? There's more than enough room for all of you. Look at these trees. Look at this grass.
Squirrels chase each other.
They're just
I lie in
like, go
bed and
fuck
just watch the
yourself.
squirrels chase each other in circles and up trees and down trees, and then they come down the tree and they stare at Bueller, and then they get him running, and then Bueller's running around a tree. I mean, it is just squirrels just add so much to this world.
They do. But this was a big pigeon forward episode. In fact, the episode opens with a pigeon that's just dancing. Just like a pigeon being like, hey, hey. It's just like having the best time. Just like, hey, I'm on Summer House. I've got to make my splash. I'll be the next cast member. Oh, and by the way, one thing I loved about this episode, there were so many throwbacks to like season 1 in terms of cast members and flashbacks. It's pretty amazing. Not to take away from the pigeon. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. But way to mindfuck.
Way to upstage this pigeon.
So Bravo continues its carnival obsession this year with another shot in a carnival. This one is the boys in some carnival-themed place playing basketball, like the little basketball games, you know, where the holes are too small to get the basketball in.
Yeah.
Cheating game. Cheating game.
Stupid. So it's like they're playing that. It's like Kyle and West. And we see the pigeon again. This time the pigeon's like, oh, second shot. Okay, I'm going to change it up. I'm on TV.
So Gabby's FaceTiming with her parents, and they're like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, first, I'm so busy, you guys. First, I'm going to a bachelorette party for Lindsay, and then I'm going to Italy. They're like, oh my God, Gabby! And she's like,
still
yeah,
single?
I did that. I know. They're like, you know how many men are in Italy, Gabby? This is going to be so fun. Find a penis. Please find a penis.
So now we settle in on Paige and Craig walking by the river. And Craig's like, why is that water so rough? It's like really moving. It's a river, Craig. Rivers move. That's how it works. It's the Hudson River specifically. Maybe it's the East River. I don't know. I don't know what river it is. I don't know what river it is, but one thing I do know is you're very dumb, Craig. Very, very dumb.
So she's making a romantic picnic for Craig. And because, you know, she was just shamed on national TV by Danielle about giving Craig nothing. So she's like, I'll buy some cured meats. That'll solve everything. So she takes him to this picnic and she's like, isn't it adorable? He goes, it is. She goes, is it really? Because it's eating, which is gross, and it's outside, which is gross. So two grosses make a not gross? I don't know. But here we are. So Danielle, I hope Danielle's watching this. Is the camera getting this?
Ew, there's like a pigeon nearby doing a selfie. It's like, do you think you're famous or something? So Paige is like, Craig goes, is this how it feels to be you? No, I would never do something as pathetic as this. But anyway, chicken, sometimes I feel like I don't show you enough that I appreciate you and love you. And that makes me laugh because it's hilarious watching you look sad. But
thank you so much for letting me be me.
Thank you for letting me make you feel like you're not part of this relationship. It's a real thrill for me.
You know, Danielle told me recently that I give nothing, and I thought, finally, somebody sees me. Should I marry Danielle?
Here's a sandwich. What? Where's the sandwich? It's nothing, Craig. I give you nothing.
This picnic basket is full of nothing, and it never will be. I love you so much.
My love language are gifts of nothing to you.
I wish she had done that. I just wanted to show you how I feel. This is a picnic basket with nothing inside. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Is it about the river? So choppy. So she says, you know,
why am I coughing? If I swear to God, if I get even a tickle in my throat, I'm going to fucking lose it. This happens every time I go to LA, and it will not happen today. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to find a place to move to. I'm moving back to Los Angeles, and nothing is going to stop me.
Darling,
except for this cold, I can't go anywhere.
You inhaled some spit. And then what happens is when you inhale stuff, and when something goes down the wrong pipe, there's like residual pipe cleaning that needs to happen. So you're okay. Anyway.
Never mind.
You're not asking for validation.
No, nothing. Okay, so Pigeon, Gabby's parents, Craig picnic. Okay, so it's like, isn't this adorable? So Paige is like, yeah, I don't show you I love with you. And, you know, and sometimes I throw a lot of things at you. Figuratively, I mean. Although there was that time I threw the Apple remote at you and then couldn't get the touchscreen to work on it, a little clicky thing. That sucked.
That was so
By the way, if you bought
me
me another Apple remote, because it's really annoying having to use my iPhone.
It was really awkward when I threw that remote at you and it like hit your head and got wedged into your hair. Your hair is so stiff. So she said,
I had to click you every time I wanted to change the show.
Turned out it was actually really fun. Hold on, let me put you on mute. So Craig's like, "Oh, you're not easy." Well, nothing worth having is easy. And I'm definitely not easy. I'm not like, as I like to say, Danielle. We like to say that word instead of easy around here.
She's easy, and somehow no one else is ever hard around her. Isn't that weird? It's crazy how that happens.
You know what? I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm like not the most openly emotional person, but I'm dating someone who's exceptionally emotional, and I have to remind myself that sometimes, you know, I have to be a little kinder and sweeter before I remind him how pathetic he is. He's awful.
Well, sometimes I don't know if you like me or not, and that may seem crazy to you.
No, sometimes I don't like you. This is
Wait.
great.
Can you just hold on a second? I just want to take in your insecurity right now. It's just so hilarious to me.
Well, it's just that sometimes, like, I get the feeling like you just don't like me.
So my communication is good, is what you're saying.
It's wonderful. That was the best thing you could have said to me today. I love that. I love that you're really feeling it.
So he's like, I mean, I would say that, like, you know, my business is taking off, and like you talking about like apartments. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm like cool with this whole situation. Like, I'm like, let's get married. But then like, there's like some benefits about not waiting too long.
Oh, Craig, did you start a sentence and you didn't know where to take it again? Okay, I'll wait. You do have a point.
And she's
right?
like, okay, well, is there an age that it would be like, okay, now it's been too long? And he's like,
Well, I mean, I want my first child by 40.
Craig, you already look 40, though.
No, but by the time I actually am 40.
But still, you started looking 40 like 2 seasons ago.
No, but I mean, like, by the time I really am 40.
28. That was the year when I decided I would be too old for this relationship. And the funny thing is I'm 30 now. So it's weird how that worked out.
It's so weird because I realized that my goal was to break up with you when I'm 40. So it's odd that we're not really compromising on how we're not going to compromise. So,
And she basically doesn't know what to do. And so she's just saying things to him to make him feel
well, look,
better.
she's been honest with him, okay? She's been honest with him, but somehow everything's in her court to quit everything in her life to move to fucking Charleston for Craig because Craig has a store on King Street. Guess what? You don't work at that. Don't tell me you're in that store 24 hours or that they give a shit. Your partner is running that whole business. Everybody knows it. Good for you, by the way, that you're in that position. He can move too. The world is, everyone can move. I think if she can move, then he can move. I don't like that the situation's just that it's all up to her and that's it. So until you're ready to move, you're wasting my time. Well, how about you're wasting your own goddamn time, okay? You can get a golf cart in New York City. Well, you probably can't, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. You can get a golf cart in San Fernando Valley, apparently, based on what we saw Jackson Brittany do 2 weeks ago. So Craig is like, well, you know what, chicken, it's okay to change your mind and it's okay for you to tell me things, but I don't like being insecure in our relationship, which I try to fight a lot because I don't want to be a pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's cute. That's cute that
That ship has sailed.
Down the river, it's so choppy.
yes.
Damn it, Craig.
How do rivers work?
So he's like, yeah, I mean, like, because if I was 40, then I'd be like, oh my God, now I'm 40.
Yeah, Craig.
And then,
But I'd be like, but Craig, at least you started looking 45 years ago.
wait a minute.
What were you saying?
Yeah, but I'd be like, I'm 40 now, and now I have to fall in love again and find an apartment. And I'd be like, oh my God, you know what? Craig, you knew it. Your gut was telling you. She's never leaving New York for you. So, like, where does engagement fall for you now?
I'm like, if your gut is telling you that, then go. Just go.
Yeah.
Craig. Don't go, though. I like them together.
And they're so cute.
Damn it, I don't know what to do.
Well, look, I don't want you to think that because it's taking me longer that it's something that you're doing. Okay, I'm fully invested. I'm just planning it out, and I'm just thinking, how long can I just wait for his business to go under?
Listen, it's not you, Craig. It's the fact that I really don't like you that much. I can't imagine being with you for that much longer. Do you understand?
At some point, people just have all the pillows they need. So when that happens, we can just then decide on New York.
Basically, here's the race. Okay, it's not really a race to the altar. It's a race to see who can get canceled first. You are Hannah Burner. So you're on Southern Charm and she's Hannah Burner. So it could really go either way.
Yeah, we're just going to see Giggly Squad or Sewing Down South. It's kind of a win-win situation for me, and I'm just going to play the waiting game.
Okay, so, they have the talk that they've had a zillion times, like, where are they going to raise children? And she does give him that she doesn't know when, but she does know that she wants it to be with him, So that's cute.
And she's like, I mean, you think I'm going to let you go now that you finally grew your hair out and dress like Jordan Belfort? Yeah. Who's Jordan Belfort again? Is that a river? Oh, God. You know what? It's over. So then we go to Lindsay in Carl's apartment, and Lindsay is picking up laundry off the floor. And she's like, Mom, do you have any lights? Which, if the question is lights on, I'm not sure Carl does these days. And he's just sort of looking like sad and vacant behind his eyes because he's so miserable in this situation. So she's collecting laundry and everything.
It's interesting because there's like a huge More Life neon sign, and he's like dead behind the eyes, and it's just the juxtaposition. He's just
I know.
Yeah, babe, I can't find more lights. More life.
The fact that More Life is framed on this dead on the vine relationship is amazing.
And last week, his stepfather was wearing a More Life shirt as he was like, "Run, girl, ma, you in danger, girl."
I learned that from Ariana.
You in danger, girl.
So you can just tell that they hate each other just by the way Carl responds when she says, "Do you have any lights?" As in, like, light colored laundry or whatever. He goes, "I do not. No. No." Like, okay, this is this is a couple that does not communicate, because most couples, if you say, "Do you have any lights or whites or whatever?" He'll be like, "No." He's like, I'm trying to guess. Is there a right answer to this? Am I getting it right? I just got so nervous.
Well, he's
Do I
also
have
just
lights?
like, I don't want her to do my laundry. She's not touching my laundry, because all he wears are white pants. Of course he has lights.
Of course.
So, yes, he has lights. He just doesn't want her doing his laundry or something. So now he's like sitting on the sofa, and she's like, "So how was your week? How was your visit? How was your mom and Lou?"
Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed hanging out. Yeah, and
The Jersey Shore? Is that where you were? The Jersey. You can do it. Go ahead. Talk
not
after.
the Jersey
faster.
Shore,
can
and
talk faster.
I saw
Time is money.
my mother, and
Did you get
I
a
also
job?
did not
You can
did
talk
not get a
faster?
job. You're just making me really nervous right now. Hold on, I'm just like really overwhelmed. I'm just like I want to take the sentence just like a little bit slower.
It's like literally hard talking.
She is like,
Right now.
okay, come on, you're Jersey Shore, you're with your mom, you're with Lou, come on.
Well, I love seeing my mom, obviously.
Okay. Well, did they give you any advice?
Which is an odd question. This is all leading me to believe that she's like, "How did it go?" "Well, we can talk about it later." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, so we have to wait for the cameras to be here for us to talk about it." It's like a reality show couple, because she's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, let's get to it. What was the advice?"
He's like, trying to think, were there any like nuggets? Like, he's such a bad liar too. And this is the side of Lindsay that I love, is that like she sees, and she's so perceptive. Like, there's certain things that she's not perceptive about at all. She's totally clueless about. But when she sees like a guy bullshitting her, like, she knows you cannot hide the bullshit from Lindsay. And her eyes are just like, they're narrowing, and like she's got that Terminator view on, and she sees Carl trying to do some bullshit as he's like, yeah, trying to think if there was any nuggets from this conversation.
And it's not just a guy, it's Carl. She's dated Carl before, and she's been treated like shit by Carl before. So she knows all this. She knows this routine, right? So she's like, and also I think production must have said something to her, because who asks, "Hey, how was it with your mom and dad? Did they give you any advice?"
Well,
I've never,
to
who
be
would
fair,
ask that?
To be fair, I can imagine Carl saying, "Hey, we go to the Jersey Shore. I just want to get some advice from my mom.
Oh,
Advice about what?
Just, just some advice just about things. It's cool. So,
Okay.
she's like,
Okay, so how was that advice?
so like I can see that side of it too.
Okay. So who knows? It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
The weather's getting warmer. Time to ditch jackets and sweaters for shorts and tees.
I used to waste my money on clothes that would only last for one season until I found Quince. Now I've got high quality pieces that never go out of style that I'll be wearing year after year.
Quince has all the seasonal must-haves like 100% European linen shirts, performance polos, and versatile flow-knit activewear.
And the best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings onto us. I have this great goldenrod overshirt that I got from Quince, and I just wore it last week to a Bruce Springsteen concert, and I looked quite chic.
Upgrade your wardrobe. Go to quince.com/crappens for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/crappens to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/crappens.
Since 2013, Bombas has donated over 100 million socks, underwear, and T-shirts to those facing homelessness. If we counted those on air, this ad would last over 1,157 days. But if we counted the time it takes to make a donation possible, it would take just a few clicks. Because every time you make a purchase, Bombas donates an item to someone who needs it.
Go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code Wondery for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/Wondery, code Wondery.
So then he's like, well, I mean, obviously they're asking about the wedding. I mean, what's going on, how we're doing, making sure that we're on track, that I got my head on straight. Do I have any lights? I said, no, no, I don't have any lights. Why are you asking me? I'm not too stressed. I want to make sure I'm not too stressed. God, am I stressed? I'm feeling really stressed. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me?
I can't be mad at my parents for being real with me, but what I do with that from here, like, that's a big decision. And I'm like, just trying to figure that out. I'm just trying to take it slow, okay? And it's hard, okay? Because we haven't been in a great spot. And my parents know we haven't been in a great spot because I always throw Lindsay under the bus when I talk to them. So, like, right now, we're in a better spot. So, like, it's just like this weird feeling because, like, I don't want to go down this road when we've, like, been healing. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Carl.
So he's like, well, I like hearing from my parents, but I feel like, Lindsay, I'm going to do what I want no matter what. Just, well, what does that mean? I mean,
It's so bad.
What did they say? He's like, well, I mean, just in general, like they want to make sure we're in a good place before we're getting married. I mean, if my parents tell me like, "Wah!" You know what I mean? I'm just going to do what I want. But if they're like, "Wah!" I'm still going to be like, well, I'm going to do what I want anyway. But if they're like, "Wah!" I'm still going to be like, I'm going to do what I...
What does that mean? What did they say?
Nothing. They love you. They said that they love you. And pizza.
They love you. And they said, you know what? Like, if I decide to ruin my life this way, it's fine. And I said, guys, stop it.
What?
No, they didn't say anything. It was cool. Everything was cool. I said, I'm always like just trying to work through this. And I just want more of the support, not the questioning. And she's like, questioning from them or for me? I mean, them. I mean, not them. They don't question anything. I mean, no, you. I mean, no, you don't question anything. I mean, I'm just like really nervous right now.
He's so ridiculous. He's clearly saying her. And she goes, so are you talking about me now? He's like, no, with them. I mean, and they do support us. I mean, they're so supportive of me leaving you. And that's what I'm hoping for, is the support,
Leaving
leaving
you good memories. Good memories.
I reminded them that we're both committed to working through it. And I'm not trying to prove anyone wrong, especially them.
Prove them wrong about what?
I mean, how much I love you, of course. What else? I mean, it was just crazy. It was like nuts. Like, I just know that I love you, and I'm going to do what I want to do, even if they're just like standing on the side of the road going,
and he is digging himself into such a hole because it's like one wrong word and she picks up on it. She goes, and so he's like, I'm going to still do what I'm going to do.
Were they telling you that we should break up then?
He's like, no. I was like, I wanted to get some Hot Pockets, and they said, don't get those. And I was like, no. And they're like, no, but you could burn your mouth. I was like, no, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, Mom. So I really stood up. I was like pretty manly at that moment, I think.
And he's clearly trying to get a reaction out of her. And I think she knows at this point what Carl is up to. Like, she knows Carl well enough, and she's just not going to give it to him. And he does it again later in the episode, trying to pull her into this thing where he's like, well, basically, they hate you. So I talked to my parents. They fucking hate your guts, and they were warning me, but I'm going to do what I want to anyway. It's clear as day what he's saying. And instead of getting pissed, she's just like, so they want us to break up? Is that what you're saying? No, well, I would never. I mean, they love you, of course, Liz, but, you know, I'm going to do what I want, not what they want. So they want us to break up. No, why are you acting like that? She's just not going to give him the reaction he wants. And watching him tap dance and still try and get it over and over it was beautiful. It's beautiful.
Like, I was like, it was amazing TV. My take on it's like a little different. It's not, it may not be a competing take, but my take on it is that Carl he can't deal with the conflict, especially because he kind of stokes it, and then he's like uncomfortable when there is conflict. So he kind of like, he lets on that he's unhappy with Lindsay to his parents, and they're like, well, you know what, you should not get married right now. And because he wants someone to say that. And then he sits with it, and now he feels awkward. He knows she's going to see it, so he feels like he's going to get in trouble. So he feels like he needs to sort of like let on some of it, so that way it kind of like eases the pressure and the tension inside. And he thinks he can sort of like just like let a little out, but not too much, and that way it'll ease everything. But she's like, wait, what? And then he's like, oh, and he's just trying to like get out of it. So it's like, to me, it's not that he's trying to get a reaction. To me, it's that like he can't deal with the mess he's made, so he just keeps making more messes to try to ease.
I definitely see it different. I see him trying to trigger her on purpose to make an ass out of herself on TV, because I think the only way that he can communicate is with yelling. When they're screaming and fighting at each other, that's the only time he gets it out, where he's like, you called me a cokehead, and you did this, and that pissed me off.
Right. He has to make
That's the
them
only
the
way
villains.
he
That way
knows how to communicate, and she's so good at communicating that way because she's always losing her temper, and it has the added bonus of making him look like the fucking victim. So he gets his parents to say this on TV, then he goes to her and he's going to try to throw the parents under the bus by being like, I didn't say this, my parents are saying it, not me. But she's not getting angry, so he's not able to communicate what really happened, because this is supposed to be a fight where she looks abusive and she's doing this to him, and he's just poor little innocent boy Carl, and he's just trying to do the right thing by abusive Lindsay and make his parents happy, and she's not doing it. And so he's starting to freak out more and more because he's not getting what she wants, but she knows exactly what he wants, and she's not going to give it to him. And I say good for her, because that actually shows growth on this show, and you never see that on this show, especially from Lindsay. I've never seen Lindsay grow on this show. So I don't know if she's growing as a person or if she's just getting better at deflecting manipulation tactics from other people because she's so manipulative herself. I don't know what it is, but it's nice to see some change. I'll say that.
I think that he is also, he doesn't want to be a liar. I think Carl's thing is he never wants to be the bad guy. So sort of aligning with what you have to say, like he does, I think, like to get Lindsay agitated so that way he can say what's truly on his mind. And like a lot of times I think what he feels, he's afraid he's going to look like the bad guy. So if she's having a reaction, he's then safe to say something because then he won't be the bad guy. And I think along those lines that when she says, did they say something? He could just be like, oh, no. Sorry, that came out wrong. But he knows that America saw it because they filmed it. So he doesn't want to be viewed as a liar. He doesn't want to get dinged for being a liar. So he's trying to kind of be slightly truthful so that way he can't be accused of being a liar, but he's trying to sort of like thread that needle where he can be just truthful enough that America says he's not a liar, but not so truthful that he gets in trouble with Lindsay. But Lindsay is too sharp to just sort of like let him do this little thing and then move on. She's like, wait, what? What are you saying? That's my take on it.
And so he's like, well, they do support us. It's just like, I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. And I reminded them that we're both going to work through it, right? Because like, I'm not trying to prove anyone wrong. I just know that I love you and I'm still going to do what I'm going to do, which is to anyone with a brain communicating, my parents fucking hate you, right? And so she's like, so are they telling you we should break up? And he's like, no. She goes, yeah, but you keep saying I'm going to do what I'm going to do, so I'm confused. And he's like, well, they just want to make sure that we're ready to get married, you know? And
At this point, his feet are on the ottoman.
Check, please. Can I get some more water? I don't want water. I do not want water. Can I have some more water? Why am I talking like this? I have dirty white pants. Did I tell you that? Are you doing lights? Damn it.
He has his feet are up on like the ottoman or the coffee table, and they're doing like windshield wipers back and forth, left and right. And he's tucked put his both hands together and tucked them between his thighs. So he's just like shaking back and forth, like, yeah, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Like, I totally love you, and like we're totally gonna get married. Like, that's crazy. My parents are totally in support. So then Lindsay's like, so like what's like that, like timing wise, like when they say like, are we ready to get married, like timing wise, what does that mean? Well, they just want to make sure we're in a good place. And like, my parents, they hear that we've gotten into 2 fights to start the summer, and that like just makes them think like, oh, they're having a tough time. Like, why are they rushing to get married? Like, why are you marrying that overbearing wench? I mean, their words, not mine. I mean,
wait a minute, rushing to get married? We're rushing to get married?
He's like, well, not rushing. Just like, it's like the bus is leaving and we're chasing it. And we're like, do we even need to be on that bus? I think they're just like, they don't want us getting on the wrong bus.
Wait, what?
And he said, he keeps on messing up. I feel like part of this is not intentional. I think that he's just still trying to fix what his mess ups, and he keeps saying more and more words that she.
Here's the thing. Here's why I can't get on. And look, who knows who's right or wrong? I think what you're saying makes sense. I just can't completely get on board with it because Carl purposely went to shoot with them to have that scene. He went to his parents' house to shoot this scene. What else are they going to talk about? I mean, it's his wedding season, and he knows everything that he's told these people, and he knows that Lou, this is not the first time Lou's been like, I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm a minister. Lou never shuts the fuck up about telling you like it is, and he's a minister. Lou is like that 24 hours a day. I think that Carl knew exactly what he was doing, and he's just trying to get out of this by looking like a fucking victim because he just keeps poking. You see, he's doing it this whole scene. He could have, like you said earlier, he could have just been like, no, they weren't talking bad about us, and just move it along. But he has to keep making it okay, and then once it's okay, he has to keep poking again to get her riled up until she's right where he wants him. She won't do it.
I think one thing we can definitely agree on is that, like, if we were in that, and I think if most people were in a situation like that, they would say, oh, yeah, well, I told my parents that we had 2 fights, which I really should not have done because, like, I don't know what I was thinking. And then, of course, they got nervous and they're like, should you get married? And I was like, no. So I just want you to know, I shouldn't have said it. They got a little paranoid. I reassured them everything is good now. Everything's good. So, but it's fine. Everything's fine. And, sorry I did that. Like, that's like a nice, easy way to kind of like just say, yeah, I did it. My bad. But him being like, oh, yeah, no, I mean, they're like really into it. He's trying to like make like, he's like scared that Lindsay's not going to like his mom anymore. He's scared that his mom doesn't like Lindsay. He's trying to sort of like bring them together. But like at the same time, he's not really saying what he really wants out of the situation. So it's sort of like coming through in these little ways. It's just such a clusterfuck of like all of his shortcomings that it's hilarious to watch.
Yeah, I think we can agree that no matter what Carl is doing here, he's doing it badly.
He's doing it wrong. Whatever the motivation is, I like both of our theories. It could be anything, but whatever it is, he's failing at it, and Lindsay is destroying him with her eyes.
And Lindsay knows that he's full of shit, and she's like, what choice does she have at this point? It's like either yell at the guy or just pick, okay, so she's like, okay, well, rushing to get married? He goes, not rushing, but he starts falling all over himself again. And she's like, well, it concerns me if they're saying that they're worried for you to get married to me. And he goes, no. They're just worried we're not in a good place, And she's like, okay. He goes, let me try this one more time. They're worried that if you and I aren't in a good place, then the wedding stuff would be a lot of pressure. If that were the case, then it would be, if there was a train going down a train track at 80 miles per hour, and a terrible marriage was coming down the other train track at 90 miles an hour. Terrible marriage? It's a train, Lindsay. It's not real. The terrible marriage train was named Lindsay, and it crashed into the poor innocent Carl train and demolished it and started it on fire. Should the little Carl train have moved out of the way? Am I a terrorist train?
No. I'm just trying to say
Come
is,
on. Where are you going?
It's,
Where are you going?
like, it's just like a lot of pressure for that little Carl train to get a career. It's like hard.
It just wants to be a little train that could, not the little train that was like forced into like getting a job.
It was like, it has a lot, that train does have passions, and I feel like you don't really recognize that. Even though it was in the station for a very long time, like, it just needs to travel at its own pace.
Train is literally, the train wasn't even coming down the track. The train was just sitting there with the lights off. Okay.
It's the little engine that might someday, I don't know, just think about things.
Okay, so she's like, okay, well, I guess it's going to be a little awkward when I see your mom. And he's like, dog. I didn't purposely make it awkward so that you would start something with my mom so she could drop truth bombs on you so I don't have to do it. But, okay, we'll see how that goes. I'll be sure to show up and act like a fucking prince to everybody I see.
Exactly. No matter what the theory is that is the closest to the truth, one thing that we can never take away from Carl is that he has an uncanny ability to pit women against each other. So now we're at Lindsay's bridal shower, and Rachel from Winter House was doing the flowers. She got like 1 second there. And then people are showing up. Sam from last season. Oh my God, Sam of Sam and Corey. Iconic duo. She shows up. Danielle is there. And Sam, of course, is like, oh my God, like I brought a bag. I'm gonna put it over there. There's like sex toys in it. Like outrageous, right? You guys want to see some photos of me and Corey together?
I'm totally fine not being with Corey, but is he fine not being with me because he can't stop taking Instagrams with smiley faces? All right. It's so good to be here.
So they're all kind of gathering. Everybody looks
I have
really
to say, sorry to interrupt.
pretty.
A big
Just so people can't finish that sentences on their own. Like, what the
I was
What was he
afraid
trying to say?
I thought you were going to just zoom forward, and I really needed to take a moment to acknowledge that I saw in this group of women that she did not get a Chiron, but Jacqueline, the fit model from season 1. And I was so thrilled.
No way.
Yes.
Jacqueline, the fit model.
Yes, she
God.
was there. Jacqueline was there. I was like, wow. This is like Andy's baby shower.
It's like the Temu version of what they say, the Temu version.
Temu baby shower.
Jacqueline from Summer House.
I looked her up, and I cross-checked and everything. I like the face.
Well, it's not that I don't believe you. I don't remember this person at all. I mean, I remember the term fit model, but I don't remember her. Hold on, let me make it bigger.
She was there.
Oh my God, I see a picture of Carl. He's like, hey, I'm Carl. I used to have bigger eyebrows and I wore blue pants, which was crazy. I'm with the Workisles, with one of the Workisles ever, Kyle, and a fit model. So she's real, everybody. She's real. Ben's not just making her up. Okay.
Yeah. There's like a treasure trove of people from that first season that I would have loved to have seen.
Yeah.
So Lindsay walks in looking great, and she's like,
Oh my God, I never thought I'd be here. Oh my God, bridal shower. I'm a bride.
Her name is Jacqueline Schumann, but her Instagram name is Jax Human.
she's human, guys. It's confirmed.
The fit model has to say, guys, I may be one of the hottest fit models you've ever seen, but I'm human. Okay, I'm human.
There was some discussion, is she a cactus? But guess what? We've confirmed Jacqueline is a human.
Jack's human, guys. Okay, where were we? Sorry, everybody.
People but Lindsay walking in and saying, I'm a bride, and making us all cringe.
We knew Lindsay was going to do this, and she is doing it. She's spending her bridal season just walking to everywhere going,
I'm a bride now. This is like my turn. It's like my turn to be a bride.
Yes. And she tells us it's a really special moment with the strong women who've been in her life to celebrate the new chapter, yada, yada. So Sharon arrives. Sharon does her little curtsy thing because that's her bit. When she shows up to her room, she does like a little fake curtsy. And then Sharon's so happy. She's just smiling. And then Gabby and Sam are sharing a
Sharon's not
breadstick.
fucking happy. What are you talking about? Sorry, that was a little mean. I didn't mean it to sound that mean. I'm just like, what's Sharon happy about? She thinks her son's about to marry a terrorist.
She's not stuck in that psychedelic red candy cane red house. She's like, oh my God, I got out of the house.
She's like,
Lou
thank
was gonna
God I
make
got
me-
away from Lou. He can't stop telling it like it is because he's a minister. Jesus Christ. I get it. You want me to do the dishes after I eat breakfast in the morning. Some of us like till after lunch. Am I right? God damn it, Lou.
So they're all eating. Amanda's like, potato chips and caviar. The best combination ever. I'm like, wow, you're really even making this luxury sound sad and boring. And then Sam, of course, Sam is also adding salt to future wounds. I said to Lindsay, you should get married every year so we can keep doing this stuff.
It's like there's nothing like eating caviar and potato chips while you're listening to someone talking about how it's finally their turn to be the bride. Am I right? It's like my favorite song of the year. It's like the
so
jam of
sorry.
the summer. I'm the bride now. I'm the bride now.
So Lindsay says more. This is like last year on Vanderpump Rules when Ariana kept on saying really cringeworthy stuff that was like nice about Sandoval, and now we have it Lindsay. So now she's talking to her stepmom, and she's like,
Can you believe that we're here? I remember telling you and Dad, I don't think it's ever going to happen for me. And I just like feel really good. Like, Carl and I have issues, but like everybody has issues. Am I right? I'm a bride.
So Lindsay is in such a Lindsay space today where she's mad at Sharon, but she knows she can't yell at this woman on TV. Normally, Lindsay's way of just dealing with anything would be to scream at the person, berate them, and let them have it in front of everybody at the party, right?
Yeah.
But she can't because it's Sharon. So instead, Sharon's on the other, she's got the two moms on either side. So she turns her back all the way to Sharon and she's like,
all the way.
Hi, Mom. So, here's what I say. And here's the deep things about my relationship, which has problems, but it's fine, Mom.
and Sharon's like, hello, Lindsay, I'm right here. You're so far away from me. And she's like,
Oh, well, you can scoot closer. We're just having some mommy-daughter talks. You can join mommy-daughter talk if you want to.
it's like, oh
It
my
was
God,
so
Lindsay
tense.
wants to kill her. This is amazing.
This was one of the scariest Lindsay scenes of all time. Just because Lindsay had that smile on her face and her eyes were rageful. And she was like, if she could have strangled Sharon in that moment, she would have. And because the way that Sharon sort of like flops her hand onto Lindsay's shoulder, like, Lindsay, you're so far away. And Lindsay's like,
Oh, you're going to touch me now after
Well, I
you
think
talk shit about
Sharon
me.
knows exactly what Lindsay is thinking too. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that Sharon seems to really, and I love how Sharon is dealing with it because she's just giggling. Like she's got this little
Smiling.
coquettish little girl thing where she's like, Lindsay, you're just so far away from me, Lindsay. I was like, oh my God. Sharon is like, I'm not scared of you, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Bring it on. If you got something to say, bring it on. I will take you down. You're messing with my boy.
and Lindsay's just gritting her teeth, like,
Oh, yeah, come join us. Here's my mother figure who doesn't criticize your son when I say we have issues.
And she goes, well, I don't know if I should get mixed up in mommy-daughter stuff. I mean, that's important. And she goes,
Well, you can.
so Lindsay's like,
I've known Sharon pretty much as long as I've known Carl. So I'm excited to have Sharon as a mother-in-law, but can't help feel like a tinge of awkwardness because she's a total bitch. I mean, I'll just say it.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
It's 3 o'clock somewhere. Time for a My Mochi ice cream snack. My Mochi ice cream is cool, creamy scoops of premium ice cream wrapped in sweet, pillowy dough. And get this, all of My Mochi's fabulous flavors, like strawberry, mango, double chocolate, and cookies and cream, are only around 80 calories per piece. Talk about a guilt-free, indulgent experience. Each box of My Mochi ice cream has 6 perfectly portioned, gluten-free mochis that are great for grab and go. So feel good while curbing your afternoon cravings or the midnight munchies. Yeah, you know who you are with the joyfully chill sensation of My Mochi ice cream. Find My Mochi ice cream at Target or visit mymochi.com to locate a grocery store near you.
So Carolyn has been mothering me since I was 3, and Sharon's like, well, you certainly are lucky, aren't you? And so Lindsay grabs both of their shoulders, and she's like,
Me and my moms.
Sharon's like, you know, when it's said out loud like that, it really sort of just hangs in the air.
So now people are schmoozing, and someone's like, "So Sharon, you look so pretty. I love your dress, Sharon. Oh my God, your dress is so gorgeous. What are you gonna wear to the wedding?" And she's like, "Talk to Lindsay. She has a whole palette." So I'm not really 100%. I was hoping to wear something by that new designer. If probably not.
So then Lindsay comes right on up and goes,
Isn't it great that Sharon came to this party? Wow. Was it hard clearing the rocks out of your cave? Just to get out?
Oh, Lindsay. Of course I came. I'm the mother of the groom. I have to come. She goes,
You don't have to, but I'm glad you did. I hope you brought your usual Ziplocs in your purse so you could take some of this free food home.
oh, yes, I want to bring Lou some food so we can see how bad food can be at such an expensive event. I'm really excited for him to see that.
I can't wait to see Lou tell it like it is to a piece of gelatinous chicken.
Oh, look, here's a half-eaten breadstick. That was me. That was me, Sam. I ate half.
So she's like, "Oh, Lindsay, I wouldn't have missed it." And she's like,
Well, it really means a lot to me. And I talked to Carl earlier, and he was telling me that you guys talked at the Jersey Shore, and you kind of had some concern.
And Sharon goes, yeah. As any parent does when their son is slated to marry a real-life witch. So, it's natural. Yeah.
"Yeah." And she's like, "Yeah, you mentioned that you have some concerns about us getting married. And, that broke my heart a little bit, Sharon. Because I was like, oh, no." And then she's
Sharon.
like,
Sorry. I started calling Sharon Janet, by the way. I apologize in the notes.
Oh.
But so Sharon just hugs
I was like,
her.
"What?" I was like, "Janet's in this?" I started thinking about the valley. I was like, "What's Janet doing here?"
That was my fault. Ronnie and I are sharing notes. And I turned from Sharon to Janet. I don't know what happened. Apologies. But Sharon's basically, so Lindsay's like, yeah, it kind of like broke my heart a little bit because I heard you had some doubts. And Sharon just hugs her to be like, there, stupid one. Stop talking. I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna pretend to love on you right now when it's just gonna stop you from saying anything to my face.
Right, because she's like, I don't think Sharon's afraid of her. I just think she's like, Carl's not going to get me to break up with this girl. Because let's face it, Sharon knows Carl. Like, she can see what Carl's doing. I don't think she really expects to break up with Lindsay, but she's like, I'm not going to have this out with Lindsay. I'm like, what the fuck, Carl?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I just don't, I said to Carl, it's like, I just like don't want your parents to worry, I just want them to live their happy life watching NCIS in a house with strange red carpets in the middle of some state that's not New York City. So that's all.
Yeah, and so she doesn't say anything, right? She's just like, look, I know that there was a fight in the early part of the summer. And so Lindsay's like, yeah, in the early part of the summer, but she's referring to the Coke fight, right?
Right. And Sharon's like, all of a sudden, because Sharon's kind of getting called out right now. And, I think that Sharon and Carl they don't love confrontation. So Sharon starts flapping her hands everywhere. She's like, oh, well, there was some sort of like fight that I had heard about at some point. It's just, a parent will get worried a little bit, nothing too crazy.
Well, Lindsay knows because she knows how to communicate with Carl. Therefore, she knows how to communicate with that who made him. So she's like, okay, well, if you're referencing the beginning of the summer, you're talking about Cokehead Carl fight or Cocaine Carl fight. And so she knows what she's referring to. So she's like, look, I've never been in a relationship with anyone suffering or dealing with an addiction. And I try to do the best that I can to support it, but it's also new to me too, which is fair, right? And Janet's like, well, that's hard. And I get that it's hard, Lindsay. It's all hard. It's all hard, Lindsay. Okay. But I am looking forward to having you in the family.
We need someone to throw crackers at Christmas. So Lindsay's like, yeah.
And by the way, of course, it's fair to have trouble being in a relationship with someone in an addiction, and there is no rule book for it. Calling them Cocaine Carl, though, is not really fair.
Let's not
add that in there.
We come down on Carl
for Lindsay a lot, but
we come down on Carl a lot. But
let's not forget Lindsay's also insane.
That was terrible
wrong.
what Lindsay did. Like that, she was 100% wrong in that situation. And apparently, by the way, it happened before even shooting began because Carl had retreated to New Jersey around Memorial Day weekend. So Lindsay, it's like, yes, there is no rule book and it is really hard. But like one way of dealing with it is not accusing your fiance of being on coke. So Lindsay's like, well, Sharon, if there's any way I can reassure you, I can, I don't know, find some back issues of TV Guide that you can gather and bring back to Lou. It'll be kind of like fun. If I could do any sort of fun gesture like that to show I really care about you and Carl, I'll do it.
And so she goes, what can I do? And so Janet's like, you just have to love that boy. And she's like, I do. And I love you too. So they hug. And so Janet's like, listen, if we have questions, it's because we want the best for you. Okay. So now they make up. And Lindsay's like, oh, God. Okay, good. Now I'm excited for you to be my mother-in-law. And she goes, well, hey, Lauren Workus thought I'd be a great mother-in-law. I was like, oh, God. You see? You believe in this chick, and then look what she does. She knows what she's fucking doing. This woman created Carl, and don't you guys forget it. But I allow fabulous.
It because I think
I was like,
moms are allowed.
Mother.
Yes, I'm like, yes. Wait, it's a mom being passive aggressive, and I'm like, yes, Janet. I mean, Sharon is an icon. I this is really my fault.
Sharon is an icon.
I had us all calling her Janet for the past 10 minutes. Okay, so so she
But
goes.
You're right. I really like that she's not afraid of Lindsay at all. And she's not going to let Lindsay get away with one little damn thing, She's like, okay, nice to make up. Don't forget about Lauren Workus. I really like her.
Don't forget, you're basically as good as Lauren Workus right now. And
Have you seen Lauren on, her sister had the baby. Never mind. Go ahead.
They both have had babies at this point, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Lindsay goes, wait, who? So then we have this girl Katie, who starts clinking for a toast. And I'm pretty sure Katie was also from season 1. I think she was a friend of. I think that when Lindsay had like a falling out with Christina, that she started leaning on Katie. I think it was like Katie, Lindsay, and Christina were like a trio. There was all sorts of fun dynamics that happened in season 1. Season 1 of the show was amazing in my book. So Katie is back, I think. We need some verification. But it's time for Lindsay to open up gifts. So the first gift, Lindsay's sitting there and she opens it up. She goes, oh my God, sandwiches. But it's actually lingerie. Lingerie in the shape of sandwiches, which, you got to love modern technology.
She really made that sandwich thing a thing. I mean, that's her thing now. So then comes the prince. Hey, everybody. Thank God I was the one in my household to think to do the lights, because here I am in white pants to say, hello, it's me, Prince Charming, everybody.
Like,
More life, send it more life.
I hated this. First of all, I don't like it. Like if there's like a bridal shower, I feel like when you do that, you're making it about you in a certain way, and you're like it's very like public facing. It's very presentational. Like, look, exactly what you just said. It's like, look at me. I'm the Prince Charming. I'm the great husband. I'm the great guy. Look at me coming in, being so sweet and cute and an adorable little boy. I think it should have been Lindsay's event, and Carl just does his own thing.
Well, I'm assuming that Lindsay made him come.
You think?
Because it is Lindsay and Carly. And Carly, my sister. My sister is Carly. Sorry, Carly.
Carly, that's so cool that your sister showed up.
I'm assuming she knew he was going to come. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I just don't like it because obviously I think Carl's like a huge manipulator. So him showing up when he's sewing all this other stuff behind the scenes and then showing up to be like, hey, everybody, it's me, Prince Charming. It's just doing the whole like, God, I sure love Lindsay so much and I'm so proud of her. Like, surely nothing can go wrong. It's just a little like, oh.
I think it was for his mom. And I'm not even joking. I think this moment was to be like, hey mom, look, I'm a great kid. Look at me showing up. I'm handsome and I do the right thing. So Carl he's like, I know the road hasn't been easy and we've had ups and downs, but the takeaway I had from my parents in New Jersey is that this is the time to really figure out this stuff and commit. And I want to get married to someone. And I love Lindsay. I hope she finds a great husband someday. I know we can make this work. And by make it work, we can make her moving out of my life work. So I'm so excited right now.
I know we can make this work, even if she can't make me work. Okay. So, more life. So Lindsay's trying to clink her glass, and it's just like, because she filled the entire glass. It's like, are those plastic? Is that a water bottle?
It was literally like, she was like, whatever. Okay, I give up. I was like, this is a metaphor. Not getting a beautiful sound out of the clink and just giving up.
The glass won't even be a part of this. So Lindsay's like, I need to give a speech. I like girls, and girls are girls, and speeches are love, and love is people, and I'm getting married, and it's my turn. Yay! And everyone's like, oh my God, Lindsay. And Carl's just like,
Wow, babe, that was amazing. Did everybody hear that? That was my wife up there. That was amazing, babe. Great speech, more life.
So now it's time to go back to the Hamptons. And so I was actually like sad. I was like, I'm loving this New York thing that we're doing right now. This situation's great. But we'll go back to the Hamptons. People are driving together. Paige and Sierra are driving, talking about the bridal shower. And Paige tells us that Lindsay did invite her to the bridal shower, and it was like a really big olive branch that Paige does not take lightly. And she's like, I feel like a really big shift in Lindsay's attitude and demeanor towards everyone. It's like, dare I say, she's being very nice. It's weird. I'm uncomfortable.
yeah. And I think that Lindsay is being nice, especially to Paige, which is odd. But I think that Lindsay has been humbled in a way and actually respects Paige now because she's trying to be what Paige is, right? She's like trying to do the influencer thing. It's like, so I think she like looks at Paige like as a leader in the industry now. She's going to give her some respect.
Yeah. But Paige is like, look, Miss Manners, I'm not going to go to this bridal shower if I'm not invited to the wedding. So, hello. Meanwhile, Jesse and Wes are driving together, and Wes is talking about how he was doing some more stuff for that complex job he was interviewing for, and then Jesse is also talking about how he has his 5-year checkup for cancer coming up this Tuesday, and so he's like really trying not to focus on it, and they're joking about getting like how he's not going to get a boner because his like 7-year-old doctor is going to be fiddling around with his nuts during it, just like guy talk.
And Sierra's like, I haven't seen Wes and I miss him. It's crazy. Are these two crazy kids in love? I'm getting the impression in this episode that Sierra likes Wes' personality, but she's got the chemistry with Jesse. No? Did you get that? When she was kind of mean to Jesse later for no reason, I was like, I think she likes him.
Maybe she's sexually attracted to Jesse, but she likes Wes' personality. And so she's like, yeah, it could be. So Wes and Jesse are now talking. And he's like, hey, Wes is saying, hey, as summer ends, like, do you think you want to go into cozy season with a shorty? Jesse's like, I've been single for so long. Like, I don't even pay attention to the season anymore. And he's like, yeah. I mean, but what if the right person comes along? Do you think you're just going to stop fucking every girl and just like at the drop of the hat? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. I absolutely will do that. To which we all know, no, he won't.
And Wes is like, yeah, but I'm like afraid of that. Like not having sex. Like that's going to be crazy. He's like, but haven't you already stopped that? Like, haven't you already stopped having sex, bro? And he's like, Meanwhile, at the house, Gabby and Danielle arrive. Danielle's like, Dick Dong, we're here.
Gabby's arranging a dinner tonight, and she's going to have an astrologer come later to do some readings. So they're excited for that. And then Carl's like, hey, Jesse Sullivan, what's up, my man? Look, I'm still a bro. Oh, here's a rose, by the way. So I'm giving out roses today.
And Paige is like, oh my God, if you guys ever go out together, people will be like, are you guys twins? You're so tall that people can't even see that your faces are different.
They're just clouds in front of them because you're so tall. Just like there's cloud 1 and cloud 2.
I hope Mario can jump on them to get all those extra coins up above.
Ow, your face just threw a spiky ball at me.
Oh my God, that cloud is fishing. It's getting weird.
Oh my God, the Carl cloud totally pulled my car off the side of the road. Thanks.
The Carl cloud just told me that it doesn't have any lights, but it's white.
So I can imagine Lindsay trying to wash a cloud.
Does anyone need this cloud? I'm going to wash it real quickly.
So Lindsay is talking to Gabby about the astrology reader, and even West is open to it, guys. And so Lindsay is like, so Lindsay just turns to West. They're all sitting outside talking, and she turns to West and she's like, so are you exclusive with Sierra? And he's like, no, I mean, that's just a weird pigeonhole. Like, we're not having sex, but we're exclusive.
Okay. So are you texting
I
other
don't think
girls?
that's a weird pigeonhole. I don't want to fuck. Like, what part of me? I don't think that somebody's saying I don't want to fuck you. I don't want to fuck you while you're fucking a million people. I think that would be a normal thing to say. No. Well, maybe not
I agree,
normal,
but I also
reasonable.
think it's like he's like, I don't want to be exclusive. Like, I'm being exclusive, but then I'm like shutting everything out, but I can't be intimate with this woman. It's weird. So I get it. Like, I think you're right too. Like, I think it's fine
he's
to
taking
say
her on 2 Tuesday dates, so I don't know. I just think that
Listen,
sometimes
Sierra
guys
isn't-
have this thing of like, why would I stop fucking other people? I haven't even fucked her yet. How would I know if I'm going to be exclusive? Where I think if you've talked to someone like Sierra, who's just told you she's been fucked over by dudes and she's not giving it up right away because she's learned her lesson with that your response is like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to keep fucking other people. So let me know when it's fucking time. It's weird. I would think if you want to attract somebody like that, you'd be like, I'm not having sex with you. Maybe I'm with anybody else. Maybe it'll work out with you. Maybe it won't, but I don't need to fuck half the city while I wait to find out because you're more than just like a fucking fuck toy.
Yeah, I think just it's probably a semantics thing because I feel like with exclusive, it's like exclusive is basically a way of people saying we're boyfriend girlfriend without saying we're boyfriend girlfriend, and so it's like he's like, I don't know if I want to be like,
well, that's true,
have a full like we're in a relationship when there's this whole like there's a whole side that I want to explore first or whatever. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. Like, I think that like just because you're not getting some.
But I think I should have waited until after the next line because this is where that opinion really comes from. So go on. Sorry, but you're right.
But I agree
exclusive
that like
is like we've been dating for a while and
we've been dating for a while and now we've been dating and we decided like we should really be boyfriend girlfriend. But like there's clearly this like thing of from her more like I don't want to get burned by you, so I want to take my time. And then like I feel like I think it's reasonable to be like, I don't know if I would.
Right. But
I don't know
where I was
lock
coming
myself
from was
off to
after
girls.
this next line. So let's just go to the next line so it makes more sense. 'Cause
Danielle
she goes, are you
shakes her
texting
head.
other girls? Are you texting other girls? Is the door open to other girls still? And he's like, well, I would say the door is open to other girls, but I haven't shot down every chick. So that's the thing. I think exclusive maybe is too far, but I don't think it's too crazy for someone to be like, oh, wow, by the way, none of this happens. This is all hypothetical, but I don't think it would be crazy for someone to be like, oh, this guy likes me and is flirting with me every week and obviously and says openly that he wants something with me. So maybe he's not going to fuck every girl he sees in a bar, you know?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's not a turn on to be like, oh yeah, you seem cool. Oh, you're talking to other girls. Great. Like, I totally understand Sierra's what Sierra's doing, and I think that like she's totally entitled to go at whatever pace she wants to go, and I think that like I think that like yeah, like why would you want to sleep with someone, especially after you've dealt with Austin, who's like sleeping with other people too, when you just want to like know that someone cares about you and is not going to hurt you. But I think that's just in terms of like elevating it to boyfriend girlfriend. I like literally I don't even know. Like I actually don't.
Well, and
even
also
care
West
with these
has
two.
the right to date. He's not in a relationship, so he has the right to sleep with whoever he wants. I'm just saying, if you really want something with someone like Sierra, you're probably the best way to go about it is probably not being like, yeah, still banging other people because she hasn't had sex with me yet. It's like. It's just,
she might be picking up on that vibe too, because the truth is, I think that when you really like someone, you kind of don't want to even talk to other people because you kind of don't want to jinx it. That was my experience.
Yeah.
So either way, I really like these two together, but I don't care too much about this.
I don't trust him. I'm sticking with it. I didn't trust him in the beginning. I don't trust him now. I think he's nice and cute and everything, but yeah.
Well, either way, Danielle is shaking her head, which means that she's going to meddle with this very soon. And Lindsay is staring with judgment, which means that she's also going to meddle. So he doesn't realize that he's giving way too much information to people in this house. Then we cut to Amanda trying to open that front door, which seems to only open on merit-based situations. So Amanda is not allowed into that door. And Kyle's like, oh, first time opening the door. And then they walk in and they're upset. Amanda's like, no one's even here. They're just like all hanging out. She's like shocked that people are not waiting in the foyer for her, Amanda, life of the party, to show up.
Oh my God, you'll wait for her, but not for me. So Gabby is talking about the astrologer and the dinner, and Amanda's like, well, what if the astrologer, tells me that me and Kyle, we're not compatible? Well, America said it, and you had no problem marrying his ass anyway, so I don't see what one more person's going to start.
Even Sierra says, we tried to tell you, bitch. So, Jess is asking about the bridal shower, and Lindsay's talking about and says Sharon was there and says, in 3 short months, I'm going to have a mother-in-law. And then it cuts to Carl just smiling like, oh no, oh no, oh no. So then, Wes gets a text and he got the job. So he gets excited and jumps in the pool. And now he is officially a writer for Complex.
So now it's time to get ready for dinner, and Sierra and West are cuddling, and Amanda and Paige are gossiping in the bathroom, and Amanda's like, I was talking to Sierra about West, and she definitely likes Sierra. And Lindsay comes in. She's like, do you have any powder? Sorry, I'm not calling anyone a cokehead. I just meant facial powder. I learned my lesson.
Or a DVD copy of the feature film Powder.
So she's like, Lindsay's like,
You know what? It's funny because like Wes was just saying outside before you guys got here that he's like texting with other girls and he mentioned keeping the door open. So yeah.
and they're like, oh my God, West.
Yeah.
They're
She's
shocked.
like, well, I mean, it makes sense. He's not shooting down combos, but he's not making moves, right? And Lindsay's like, well, I didn't ask that. I was just like, are you talking to anybody else? And Paige is like, well, what guy is going all summer without having sex? Like, let's be honest,
And they're like,
and Amanda
West
says,
is.
West, which no, the point is that he's not.
Right.
Yeah.
So Amanda's saying that like Sierra's been traumatized by past quote unquote vacation flings, aka Austin, and probably Luke. So meanwhile, they cut to Carl. Carl and Kyle are in a room, and Carl is trying to swat a fly with a pillow, which I think probably sums up maybe why Carl is not getting a job, because it's about using the right tool for the right situation, and pillow versus fly, it's not going to work out.
Yeah. So then back to the girls. Lindsay's she's like, okay, so Carl went to the Jersey Shore and his mom and Lou had concerns about us getting married. And so I talked to the mom at the bridal shower, and Paige is like, oh, what did you say? Did you give her an invisible picnic? I really want to try that.
Visible pay.
Well, I just said I heard that you had some concerns about us getting married. And she was just like, I'm just more concerned that you guys got into these fights. And I don't know how she knew about these fights unless my future husband went and squawked to his mom, which I'm totally fine with. But she said, you're getting married in a couple months. So we just were a little nervous. So it's totally fine. It's totally great. I'm totally happy with it.
So she says basically it felt like rejection, and that, she doesn't speak to her biological mom. And yes, she has this stepmom who's like her mother, and she has her Aunt Rhonda, who we haven't heard much about. And she's like, but, this is supposed to be like me gaining an extra mom and her basically rejecting me before I'm even in the family. I mean, I get that,
This was
I thought that
totally
was really
This did
sad.
not feel like it was bullshit. Like I totally got it. And she was like crying, and Amanda and Paige are like, yeah. They're like, she's crying. This is amazing. So they just talk. So, Paige is saying, sometimes moms with their sons, they just feel like they're losing their son. So like, don't worry. She's lucky to have you. They rally around her and they support her.
Cut to Carl trying to hit the fly with the pillow still.
I know. It's like, this is what you're crying over.
Yeah. So Kyle's like, yeah, we're almost in the home stretch here with the wedding, right? And he's like, yeah, the bridal shower, it was like so beautiful. It was almost surreal being there. It was like a fairy tale. I carried in a glass shoe just to be like, are you my princess? Are you my princess? Are you my princess? Because I'm a prince. I'm literally a prince right now.
I was like overwhelmed. I mean, what else is new? And I like walked in and my heart was like racing, and then like my heart was overwhelmed, and then like it was just like a small practice for what the wedding will be, and
Sorry, I just got overwhelmed. Oh.
The only difference is that I showed up for it. So.
And my mom was there, which was great. She was like the prettiest lady in the room. And like, I don't think I've like really shared this with you, but my mom has been pretty through, like she's been like through the ups and downs of this. And we've had our moments. And Kyle's like, what was it like for your mom? And Carl is about to just say, he's about to go in. You feel it. And then in walks Amanda looking for shoes. And not only does she look for, she's just in there forever. And then she just sits down while they're having like this heart to heart. It's like, Amanda, get out of there.
No. And they even say, Carl's like, well, I guess she's joining. And she's like, yeah. So she's like, Lindsay was just talking to me downstairs about the conversation that you and your mom had. Like, fuck off, Amanda. Jeez.
This is bro
Stop.
talk. Carl's about to gossip.
No kidding. Not only is he about to gossip, but stop pretending like you're going to be nice to Lindsay and then just fucking her over every single time. Like, it didn't even take you longer than 2 minutes to fuck her over, bro.
Yeah. So everyone's outside, meanwhile, like eating dinner and waiting for these three. So Amanda's like, well, she felt like she's being rejected. And Carl's like, no, not all. It's more like, Carl, we just want you to know that this is what you're seeing. Your fiance is terrible. You shouldn't marry her, or you got to get away from her. Do whatever you can to get out of this relationship. And like, you know, like, but there's also certain things I'm just not going to share with Lindsay because like, that's like my mom, you know?
So it's like, no, they weren't saying that, but also there were like worse things that they said.
It's just such a Carl answer. And she's like, well, when you don't tell Lindsay everything, it's to protect her feelings.
He's like, yeah, of course.
And she goes, okay, so what are the other things she said? Because, of course, he's hinting that there's more. And so he's like,
I mean, listen, like, it's okay to have concerns, right? Like, if anyone has more concerns, it's my stepfather.
And Carl is, you know, you've said this all season, but like Carl is keenly aware of the cameras. He knows he's bright enough to know, even though he doesn't have lights, he's bright enough to know that there's like the cameras are recording this and that like this will get back to whoever he's talking about. He even acknowledges that later in this scene. And yet he still goes forward saying all this stuff.
Carl. So he's like, well, you know, like Lou's an ordained minister, okay? So that means whatever he says, like, really holds weight. Like, he's married people for 35 years, and he's officiated weddings for lots of couples. And as it stands, if he was doing our counseling, he wouldn't marry us. He wouldn't marry us. Based on things I've told him. Okay, that was in like little tiny letters with a double cross there. I was going to put an asterisk, but I used the double cross because, you know, minister. So more life, Jesus.
But you know, I also can understand. Like, thank you for that, Lou. But like, you're not here on the front lines. Yes, did I just compare being in a relationship with Lindsay as like being in war? Perhaps. But I'm going back to my relationship that I see every day that may give me PTSD. And I see the work that Lindsay puts in, and I see the commitment we have in the sessions we're having in couples therapy, and we're making progress. We're making progress every day. Like, it's just like the abandoned stuff. I just like didn't fully like get it until we got in that room. So this was all bullshit. This is him presenting like he's being considerate. Like he's like, I'm gonna bring this stuff up on camera. I'm gonna tell it to these people, knowing that it's gonna inflame a situation between my fiance and my parents. And then I'm going to give some public praise to Lindsay, even though I'm also undermining her at the same time.
Yeah. Well, what is he saying? The abandonment stuff I did not understand fully until we got in that room. What does he mean?
He meant like until they got into therapy. But I'm like, how did you not get that?
Have you not seen the show? Because it's a pretty big.
She talked about it for 8 years on this show. It's like pretty clear cut.
So he's like, yeah, even as her friend for the last 7 years, I didn't really understand it. And I acknowledge that it's very deep and hard, but I didn't get it. And she says, well, how did that make you feel? And he's like, fucking horrible. And she's like, well, did you tell her what Lou said? And he goes, no. And she's like, but isn't she going to see this? And he goes, yeah, the other caveat is this. And they point to the cameras, and then the cameras film each other like, yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, we're here.
Does this mean we get to have that dinner too? So he's acknowledging that like, ooh, these were conversations on cameras. He can get back to people. Whoops. And yet he continues to have them, which is what's so interesting. So
well,
Amanda's
like it's reality TV, and I get it. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to say it again. Go ahead.
No, it's just that like
Yeah, I think it's like he's on
It's like
camera.
the same thing over and over. And I'm just like, I mean, I've said my piece. I don't need to say it 20 times an hour. You know what I mean? Even though I
feel
will.
like,
I'll
you
say
know
it
what it is?
19 though.
I think that he's very concerned about the public's opinion. And so he's putting
Of
stuff out
course,
there.
yeah. That's whole season is him
he's
wanting it
of
out.
everyone.
He's building a road to get out this entire season, and it's working. You know, for the most part, I think it's been working pretty well for him. I just think it's gross, and I think it's sad. You know, and I don't think the stuff that he has against Lindsay is necessarily even wrong. They're just not right together. It's just the way he's going about it is really gross, and it is. You know, at the beginning of the season, we're like, how the fuck are you blindsided by this? This is a train wreck. But I see how she's blindsided now very easily, you know, because he's letting her believe one thing while showing another thing on camera to vindicate himself. And then he comes in and he peppers some faux compliments all over the place. Like,
I know Lindsay's working on it, and this is as much my fault as it is Lindsay because I'm an abuse victim.
He kind of like massages these, he relays conversations back and forth with people, massages the tone a little bit, gives people just enough to be like, huh, what? So now he's like, Amanda's like, look, I probably would not have told my parents that Kyle cheated on me, except I knew they were going to see it because it's on the TV show. So I just was like, I'd rather it come from me than right before it aired. Which is sort of her way of also saying like, I want my parents, I like Kyle, I want my parents to like Kyle, and I know that they're my parents, they would never get over something like this, so I probably would not have said something. And it's kind of like you just went and like offered this up on a silver platter out of nowhere. So she's like, so I went and I got ahead of the story essentially. And he's like, okay. And he's like, yeah, it's just like it's not natural because of this. Like, I would go have this conversation with my parents, and I'd go back to Lindsay, and I'd be like, I love you, and like, let's get fucking married. Like, I can't wait. I'm like, Carl, you didn't have to do that whole scene with your parents on camera. That's the other thing. Or I don't know.
yeah,
Anyway.
like you can't tell me you didn't know the camera crew was there, that you took all the way to the Jersey Shore for this. Come on. And so she's like, at the end of the day, you get nothing for nothing. And that's all you can say for the life of the car. But at the end of the day, Lindsay's gonna find out, and it's better coming from you than later down the road. And he's like,
Well, I just don't want to hurt her. I care about her because I love her. She's my lady. And this is so hurtful. It's not intended to be hurtful. I'm going to go hurt her again right now on camera. It's going to be amazing. So, you guys in? You guys in? Make me forget you're there. Just kidding. Be like 2 feet away from my face. It's going to be hilarious.
we just have like so much shit on our plates right now. Like there's wedding budgets that she takes care of. Like, I don't have a career yet. Like, I don't know where we're going to live because Lindsay suddenly announced that she suddenly like wants to like be like a mom. Like, where'd that come from? Like, she wants to have a family. And I just feel like it's like a massive amount of anxiety on me. And like, I had the thought like that my parents have questions about her. It's just like really hard. There's like a lot on my shoulders, like having to think about the stuff that other people have to do.
So now the others are down at dinner, and Jesse's talking about how he had a great day, but guys, you just can't force chemistry. Am I right? And they're asking, Danielle's like, do you date are you looking for someone, or are you just trying to like have sex with randos?
And he's like, no, I date to find someone, like when there's a chance, like I could spend 60 plus years with them. And so she's like, so you're doing that when it's like during the week, but then on the weekends you're just like sleeping around. He's like, well, no, I mean, on the weekends you're just finding leads. You know what I'm saying?
And Sierra's like, you're kind of a trash bag, and I would never introduce you to any of my girlfriends.
And then he's like sad. He's like, that's rude. That's rude. He's like, Sierra's my friend. So to be like, I would never introduce you to any of my friends because you're a trash bag, I think that would like hurt anyone's feelings. Are you serious? It's not like I have a girlfriend. I'm like still going out and flirting. I'm like as single as you could be. I'm like, okay, get over it. Like you clearly are, like you are breaking women's hearts left and right. We all know it.
And she's like, I mean, it's fine. You're just out to fuck. And he's like, nuh-uh. And she's like, yeah, it's annoying. He goes, yeah, well, I'm annoyed too. And he tells us, I mean, she's my friend. So hearing I'm a trash bag and she wouldn't introduce her friends to me, yeah, who wouldn't have their feelings hurt?
Paige is like, Jesse, don't worry. I'm obsessed with you. I literally like you more than my boyfriend. So you can enjoy that. So Carl is like, hi, sorry I'm late. Here's a big smile to show how happy I am. I'm so happy right now.
And Lindsay's been having a great dinner. She's getting along with everybody. She's not bitching about Carl. Everything's going great. So here comes Carl, okay? So she's like, oh, you guys were in there for a while. And he goes, yep. And she goes, is it Loverboy stuff you were talking about? And he's like, oh, we should probably chat at some point. Because the conversation my mom and stepdad had, I want to make sure we're on the same page about it. So.
Well, we talked about this week in Derby.
And he's like, yeah, I just want to revisit it. That's all. Just like revisit, you know?
Okay, but like, I don't understand, babe. And now I'm going to be on edge this entire dinner.
Yeah, I'm just like emotional right now. And I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. Like, I'm overwhelmed. Ugh.
This fucking guy.
So she's basically like, all right, let's just talk now. I'm not going to be able to enjoy this meal. So she goes.
Yeah, he just comes to drop drama and start a fucking fight in front of everybody. It's fucking Carl. He's making me crazy. My head is going to pop off watching this show before the season ends. He is making me fucking crazy. So they leave. And so Amanda's like, well, I get why he hasn't told Lindsay. I don't regret his. I feel bad for the position he's in. Right. Amanda, I don't need you right now. Pissing me off even more, okay? So Lindsay and Carl go into the living room, and Carl's like, oh, when I went to New Jersey to talk to my mom and my stepdad, they've been concerned about the fact that we've been fighting, and they just want to make sure we're good, okay?
I know, babe. Like, we talked about this, and I'm confused what just happened where now you're, like, upset. You're, like, very angry and upset right now.
I'm not angry. I'm not angry.
But babe.
I'm not angry, Lindsay. I'm not angry.
It's a classic dynamic between the two of them. That she calls him angry. She's like, now you're angry. He's like, I'm not. He's like, I'm sorry. I actually acted like I was angry. He's like, I'm not angry.
But babe.
I'm not angry. So now he's angry. But he's saying he's not angry.
But
he wasn't really angry to start. But now he's that.
But he just charged at the table and dropped a bunch of drama and was like, okay, you weren't angry, Carl. Then what do you want to call it? You just came with a bag full of bullshit emotion and dropped them in public at the table again. So what would you like to call it, Carl? Like you just have like an insane thirst for attention right now in the middle of dinner. Okay, then call it that. Whatever you need to call it. Okay.
I don't want to have secrets from you. And when the conversation in New Jersey with my parents plays on TV, just so you're not like blinded or like caught off guard, I just like want to make sure like you know what Lou told me, which was #MoreLife because he was wearing the shirt. And then he also said like, as it stands right now, if we were his couple that he was working with, Lou, your future father-in-law, who you're going to spend a lot of time with at various family events, said, I would not marry you. His words, not mine. His words, Lou.
So he's like, I want you to know what was said in Jersey, but they do both love you. And she's like, okay, but the initial conversation about this wasn't very in depth. And he's like, okay, so I should have told you. And she's like, okay, so maybe we should have more detailed communication then. And like, that's a pretty big significant thing that he wouldn't marry us, right? And he's like, well, I mean, he's hearing from one person, not you whatsoever. And she's like, yeah, but we've had this conversation before, and this is why I try not to involve my parents in the details of our fights, Carl, because parents are going to take sides. And he's like, well, the details of our fights, I share some things, but like, I don't want you to think that I go down there and say like, she's the worst. I mean, I don't say derogatory words. I just say, ow, she hit me. Like, oh, do I have a bruise? Like, I just ask questions like, am I bruising? Like, is my outside bruised like my inside is?
I just talk honestly, which is, in my case, means that I insinuate things, but I say like, no, she's a great girl. Lindsay's reaction is like actually pretty chill because I think that he's bracing for her to be like, I can't believe you would say that. Do you not want to get married to me? Blah, blah, blah. But she's more like, why didn't you just tell me this in the first place? Like that's the issue. Like you tell me a partial story. And then later on, I feel to hear the full story. It's just like, you have to just tell me what, just don't do this.
I love it. That's why I love her right now in this season, because she's just not letting him do what he's trying to do. Like he tried to get a reaction before, and I know we don't agree on this. I'm not hounding this to like,
it's not like
argue or whatever.
Issue.
I'm just saying like, on one side of the argument, he's trying to get a reaction out of her. He's not getting it. So then he goes to other people in the house. He goes to her enemies in the house, let's face it, Kyle and Amanda, and starts telling them stuff on camera, okay, before he tells her. And then she's in a really good mood. So then he goes and he drops it at the table in front of everybody. And then he's doing this, and in a minute he's going to start the good old, why are you upset? Like he's going to do that thing back to her. So it's like he's trying to get it and she's just not giving it to him. And I'm really impressed because I would give it to him at this point. And I can stay pretty calm in an argument, but I would give it to him. And she's not. She's like, okay, but so why can't we just communicate better? Like you could have just told me all of this before, Carl.
Yeah. And so, meanwhile, outside, they're like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And Gabby's like, I don't think they're fighting. Like, Lindsay's not doing her fighting hands. She's doing her, I'm trying to explain this to you in a calm way, but I'm assertive hands. They show Lindsay with like her hands being like, what?
Well, I just want to make sure we're on the same page because when Amanda said you were emotional, I just wanted to revisit and make sure I cleared the air about my New Jersey visit and also get Amanda thrown under the bus. So maybe you can yell at her if you want to yell at me. Like, please yell at somebody on camera, please.
Yeah, so like if you wind up getting frustrated that we're fighting when it was supposed to be a good night, feel free to yell at Amanda now. So Carl's like, my mom and my stepdad fucking love you. Like my mom came to the bridal shower because she wants to be there for you and me, mainly me. She said something about like it was like the equivalent of doom scrolling, but like in person. I don't know what that really meant. But anyway, she only had the kindest things to say about you.
And she's like, yeah, I understand. I'm not questioning that. You know, I wasn't having a conversation where I was saying like Sharon hates me. And he's like, well, Amanda didn't say that, but you know, that's me because that's where I go crazy. And like when I struggle. And she goes, well, I mean, it just came across as pretty intense. And he's like, well, I'm overwhelmed, okay? Because there's like so much going on. Like we still have to like figure a lot out. Like I got to get a career figured out. There's like wedding, there's loose ends. There's just like a lot. She goes, okay, and it's too much for you for me to have an emotion right now. And he's like, no, I just wish I had told you sooner. Huh?
I loved when she said that.
And he's like,
no, I just wish I had told you sooner. Oh, because I just I don't want you to spiral and like I didn't want to trigger you. She goes, but I didn't spiral. He's like, but like I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying, why aren't you spiraling?
It's a tough conversation.
What more do you need?
Like,
did you not hear the part that my mother hates you?
Oh my God. It's just like a tough conversation. Like that's hard. And I get nervous and I struggle with it. Why are you spiraling? And she's like, but why is this a tough conversation? I'm feeling like overwhelmed by it. I have to get my career in order because you told me to. And like, this is kind of like your fault. Because like, if you didn't tell me to do that, like I wouldn't be overwhelmed. And I might not have like gone to my parents. So I'm just trying to say like stop spiraling and like make me do these things. It's like a lot, Lindsay. I'm like a little overwhelmed. That's all.
Well, Lindsay, if you didn't see before why the parents are saying you shouldn't get married, you should see it right now because this is what they're seeing. And this is not someone who's going to be ready to get married to you. Okay. I'm sorry if some of your brand deals go down over this, but girl, this man does not like you. I'm not even saying love you. Maybe he does love you on some level. He does not like you, okay? And the fact that he went to talk to Amanda and Kyle, of all people, about his mother's issues with you before you is like,
This is why we gotta stop selling the fairy tale of weddings, by the way. All the language around, oh, he looks like Prince Charming. Oh my God, it's a fairy tale wedding. Because this is what happens. Because people want the fairy tale and you have Lindsay. All the signs are there. This is not a match for you. He doesn't have a job. You want an ambitious alpha guy. Carl is not that. There's nothing wrong with him not being alpha. That's totally fine. But he's just not that, and that's what you want. Please. And now he's about to humiliate you.
Well, it's also something about the entire wedding industry. Like, you have to plan this for a year or two. You have to have all these parties. You have to have all these events, all these things over this fucking thing, which I guess at one time was like some forever thing. But for now, it's a few years of your life that we all have to go out and buy you KitchenAid appliances for. And it's just bullshit. If you want to get married, go to fucking City Hall and have a dinner with people. But the fact that you have to like have hundreds of thousands of dollars and you have to plan all of this stuff, it makes so much pressure for people, and it makes people not quit when they should quit because they've already invested all of this money. The sunken cost fallacy becomes literal, where you've invested so much money into this that you're like, I can't just like not have these parties. I already paid the deposit. So we'll get divorced later, but I'm having this fucking dinner. I already ordered the fish for everybody.
Yeah, it's a full disaster. And listen, I do believe in true love. And I think that there are marriages where you're like, I think this is going to last forever. I just don't think that exists whatsoever in the world of reality TV. And you're both reality stars trying to get married. I don't think we've ever seen a successful reality star marriage that has lasted the test of time. And people can pull up examples and I'll say there's still a divorce in the future. So
Give him time.
give them time. I don't know. Juliana and Bill Rancic, I'm coming for you. So anyway, everyone, wow, this was a great episode. Oh, I loved it. Thank you everyone so much for being here. We'll see hopefully a bunch of you tonight in Hollywood, and we'll be back on Monday with a whole new week of shows. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
She's never scary. It's the Green Fairy.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. We want to hang with Liz Lang. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
We forever love Ava.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish. It's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Ring that bell for Rachel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
I'm Shimol Yai, and I have a new podcast called The Competition. Every year, 50 high school senior girls compete in a massive scholarship competition.
I wouldn't say I have an ego problem, but I'm extremely competitive.
All of the competitors are used to being the best and the brightest, and they're all vying for a huge cash prize.
This will probably be the most intense thing you've ever gone through in your life.
I remember that feeling because I was one of them. I lost. But now I'm coming back as a judge and also a kind of teen girl anthropologist. Because if you want to understand what it's like to be a young woman in America today, the competition's not a bad place to start.
Hopefully, no one will die on stage tonight.
From Pineapple Street Studios and Wondery, this is The Competition. Follow The Competition on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to The Competition early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
In the climate-ravaged year of 2072, the city of Pura stands as a miraculous green haven, a geoengineered paradise that protects fortunate residents from the global catastrophes of heat domes, fires, floods, and droughts. Demetria Lopez heads up Pura's public relations, tirelessly promoting the city's idyllic image. But when she stumbles upon a dark secret that, if exposed, would be the downfall of Pura's existence, she must decide who and what she is willing to protect. From Wondery, the makers of Academy and Dr. Death, The Last City stars actors Reyes Sehorn, Jeannie Torrado, and Maury Sterling. Follow The Last City on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of The Last City early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.